room are actually participating on that, and I appreciate your effort with that as well. Essentially, what we're doing is branching out to one component of our strategic plan, which talks about reaching out and being more involved in the community. One aspect that relates to that is the county strategic plan. The county strategic plan was actually started as an initiative by the Jackson County commissioners to see what they could do about a whole bevy of topics. This one that I'm involved with speaks to education, both at kind of pre-K all the way up to the 20th grade, if you will. What we've defined is that there are a number of concerning data points within Jackson County. The number of people over the age of 25 who do not possess a baccalaureate credential is 12.6%. The state average is considerably higher, and the national average is higher than that. A number of individuals who don't have a post-secondary credential at all or any post-secondary education, particularly since the number of new jobs being created require that. So we've done a couple of things. We had a meeting yesterday up at the Michigan State University, and we talked specifically about putting Connect EDU into all the schools. Kevin Oxley, the superintendent across the street, has been actively involved with that. All the superintendents will be hearing about our proposal to implement this countywide with all the school districts. We had a presentation from representatives from this company to talk about implementing it, so they got some new information as well. Essentially what this is a cloud-based software system that allows individuals at the secondary level and at the college level too to be able to have a go-to-college plan, essentially while they're in secondary education. And mom and dad can look in that or whatever support system that they have, and essentially try to look at what they want to become when they move out of school, out of high school, whether it be going on to a baccalaureate granting institution or college generally, or the military, or finding a job. It will talk about the specific courses that they have to have at the local school level, what courses they need to have at the post-secondary level, what institutions offer those degrees. It also helps them filing for FAFSA. It also maintains a resume for them, any competencies they have, and also seamlessly transfers their high school diploma transcripts to the colleges of their choice. Also, interestingly enough, the state of Michigan selected Connect EDU to establish the state higher education portal. So about August 1st, I believe, is the deadline. That is August 1st. The deadline for establishing the portal, so all higher education institutions in the state of Michigan will be listed on this portal. And it will tell you if you're interested in becoming a diagnostic medical sonographer, these are the institutions that offer that degree. Here's the tuition cost, and in partnering with another organization that received approval from the state called DocuFied, requests for transcripts and application will be handled by both DocuFied and Connect EDU. Connect EDU will handle the application process, and DocuFied handles the transcript transfer process. There will be some costs associated with this for our institution. At its peak, we believe that we'll be paying Connect EDU about $20,000 a year to handle the application process if we want to be a part of this effort, and it seems that a lot of them are. This is elective. And then DocuFied, the transcript process, we don't have an option there. We are required by the state to participate in that. Failing to do so will actually be a penalty to the institution in terms of state aid. Another aspect of this transcripting process, which you've already started thanks to the IT staff, I see Tim and some others here, Jim, what we've had to do now is incorporate into our transcripts a UIC code, which is a unique identifier which is going to begin with the early grades. And this is the way that we're going to track students from P through 20. In fact, there's a P20 council that's being developed and doing a lot of work on that. Kristen Buttigieg is a part of that from our IR office, and it is in development right now. It's supposed to be launched later this year. Still a lot of bugs to be worked out on this, but this also will represent a cost not only to our organization but also to the students who are requesting transcripts. Right now, as you know, our students can request, 20, 25 transcripts, and I don't think we're charging them anything. So this is a cost that's being passed on to students. More of this will be rolled out, and we'll keep you informed as it becomes available. And once it becomes active, we'll have some information as you can share it with your friends and colleagues, but also be knowledgeable for your own right. Enrollment data, you've seen some of this before. We continue to see some undulations with late start classes and the like, but we are favorable to budget based on early projections. We have increased that. We continue to be a little bit ahead of our projection, and this is some of the information that we're using as we set targets for fiscal 11. As you can see, we've easily cleared 10,000 unduplicated credit students. The college, this is the time in our lives since 1928 where we have the largest billing contact hour generation, the most persons of color on this institution with over 1,000 students of color on our campus. We are kind of moving up and down on the age scale between 27 and 29 in terms of average age, right now at about 29. But we're trying to get some sense of where we're going from here. What does the summer, spring semester look like, and what does fall look like? And the trend data continue to point upwards, but there are lots of other indicators that say if we continue to believe that too strongly and see levels of significant change, then that could be problematic because of some of the items that I mentioned previously. Here's how the head count breaks out, as I mentioned, across our district, and you can see that we're easily in double digits from the same day a year ago. And the pressure points are continuing. There are some other elements out there with regard to the cessation of unemployment compensation for individuals. There have been some extensions, but those are drying up. There's also continuing rumors about no worker left behind funds drying up. Those are not true. I've spoken with the DLEG offices, and that is not true. So if you hear anybody saying that, please tell them the truth of that matter. And this breaks it down by location, so you get a sense of how we compare with previous years. And as you can see, we're up in all areas. Moving on from there, again, you can see the age differentiation, as I mentioned, from 27 to 29. We continue to be majority on the female side, and ethnicity continues to grow. The most surprising one for me was this number here, that we've seen a decrease in the number of full-time students. Obviously, these data are important to us as we consider important indicators of success for institution, that is persistence from semester to semester and from year to year, as well as academic performance, how many students are participating at the developmental level versus the post-secondary level. So good information, and I appreciate the work of our institutional research office. Let's move on to a few academic conversations here, if we can. We are in continuing conversation now with the Lenawee Intermediate School District for the creation of a middle college. By show of hands, how many of you are familiar with a middle college concept or heard something about middle college? Almost the whole house have heard about it, so I don't need to talk about it. No, kidding. Middle college concept is designed to reduce the number of years in college proper, meaning that there is a fusing of the post-secondary level and the community college level to have an individual possessing an Associate of Arts degree at the end of their freshman year. Well, how does that work? Well, essentially what we do is in their sophomore year have a conversation that looks like putting a curriculum together this way. Then the sophomore year they would have an FYS class and probably some kind of ACT preparation, maybe even some remediation. Beginning in the junior year, they would take about 16 semester credit hours of college credit instruction, meaning it would be our course, our textbook, our faculty member. In the in the senior year, they would also take another 16 hours. So they come in graduating from high school with not only a high school diploma, but also 30 semester credit hours from JCC. They would then participate fully as full-time students at JCC in the freshman year, picking up again 16 hours in the first semester, 15 to 16 hours in the second semester, maybe taking some in the spring summer semester. So at the end of the freshman year, they've got a complete Associate of Arts degree. This is getting all kinds of attention across the state. These are popping up around colleague institutions. Ours right now is we're in conversation with Lenawee Intermediate School District and providing that service to the Intermediate School District, but serving all 12 public high schools in Lenawee County. Early discussions have begun in Hillsdale